Hello, and welcome to Rhythm Lab Quick Tips. In this video, we'll be demonstrating just how easy it is to import MusicXML files into Rhythm Lab. A little bit later in the video, we'll talk about ways of getting MusicXML files. But if you already have some MusicXML files or a MusicXML file that you'd like to import, then simply go to the custom screen, use the Open a Draft Pattern feature, find the MusicXML file that you've saved in whatever location or app that you've saved it. You now have a pattern set that you can edit and save or add to a pattern set, just like any other custom pattern. So what exactly is MusicXML? According to the MusicXML.com website, MusicXML is the standard open format for exchanging digital sheet music. A MusicXML file is a text-based file. It's in a XML format, which means it uses open and closing tags, and information is stored in a hierarchical fashion, just like HTML or any other kind of XML format. This means that theoretically, you can edit a MusicXML file simply using a text editor. However, we'll see that using musical notation software is probably the easiest and fastest way to edit and use MusicXML files. When it comes to Rhythm Lab's use of MusicXML, we'll have to say that there are certain limitations. First of all, you can only use one or two voices in Rhythm Lab. So when Rhythm Lab imports a MusicXML file, it will search for the first two top voices, essentially. Also, because of Rhythm Lab's format, it will only accept the first 2 or up to 8 measures. Anything after that will be ignored. Now let's talk about ways to get MusicXML files. One really useful app that I have found is PlayScore 2, which can take an ordinary PDF file and convert it to MusicXML. So, for example, if you have a bunch of PDF files that you've downloaded from a website like imslp.org, a lot of public domain files, you can load those into PlayScore 2, and often it will be able to convert that to MusicXML without too much trouble. Here's an example of converting a Mozart string quartet that I downloaded from imslp.org. It's a public domain file. Loaded it into PlayScore 2, and without too much effort or trouble or anything extra to do on my part, it converted it right into a MusicXML file. Once you have that MusicXML file, you will probably want to load it into a notation software program and edit it further, because a lot of times MusicXML files will have errors or other things that aren't quite the way you want them. Plus, if you want to get it ready for Rhythm Lab, you'll probably want to reduce it down to a maximum of 8 measures that you want to look at, and maybe clean up the 2 voices that you wanted to use. For example, in the case of this Mozart string quartet that I downloaded, I'm using MuseScore to clean it up. I've got to switch some voices. I'm getting rid of extra measures I don't want. I'm focusing in on the few measures that I do want to use in Rhythm Lab. Once I'm done with my editing and shortening and voice switching, then I just re-export the file as a MusicXML again. Almost all modern notation software will export and import MusicXML. So among the most well-known packages, Finale, Sibelius, Dorico, Notion, StaffPad, NoteFlight, MuseScore, and I'm sure there are many others that I've missed in my list, but most of these will handle MusicXML. So MusicXML is widely available. I highly recommend that you create your own MusicXML files using these programs, or you might possibly want to look for some ready-made MusicXML files, but there are a few websites which are listed here and which also have links in the description below if you want to find some ready-made MusicXML files. Thanks for listening. If you don't already have Rhythm Lab, check it out. It's available on the App Store. Again, there are links below.